Who will be able to beat The Northman? Right now, it's the best film of the year in 2022 so far. There are others that will be released soon that may be its competition, but I'm going to run them down, but I don't see it for these other films. First and chief among them, I believe, will be Iñárritu's Bardo. It's a political thriller set in Mexico. It was shot on 65 millimeter. The problem becomes it's going to be in limited release, probably in LA and New York, and then will live on Netflix in 65 millimeter. Next, The Batman. Beautiful cinematography, extraordinary cinematography. It's a great film, one of the best Batman iterations. It has the perfect score. It could be a contender for Best Picture, but it came out early, and there's so much more dropping the rest of the year. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. If this isn't a contender, we're going to have a major problem. One of the best films of the year, one of A24's best, and I believe it stands at one of the top 5 box office hits for A24. The originality and the concept pushes this film to the front of the line. Nope. So much is under wraps. Even the trailer is ambiguous. You really don't know, is this going to be a sci-fi thriller? Like, what is this? Is it going to be a black apocalypse now? Does it stand for not on planet Earth? It's anyone's guess, but I'd have to see more to get a sense if it'll be considered Best Picture. At a minimum, maybe Jordan Peele will get another Best Original Screenplay nomination, but we'll see. But for now, Nope's on the list. Well, if this is going to be this year's What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Brendan Fraser may be in for an Oscar nomination. So it's about a 600-pound man desperate to reconcile with his estranged daughter, and it's directed by Darren Aronofsky. It goes on the list. Armageddon Time. It's a 1980s coming-of-age story starring Anthony Hopkins, Anne Hathaway, and Jeremy Strong. Sounds terrific. It was directed by James Gray, whose 2019 film Ad Astra fell short, only getting 1 Oscar nomination, which was for sound mixing. But it's going on the list. Top Gun Maverick. Now, I'm sure this will be a blockbuster, and it's probably not going to make the list, but I'm just comparing it to production value. But no. Avatar 2, The Way of Water. I'm surprised people are still interested. I wasn't fascinated with the first Avatar. I don't get it. But it's James Cameron. He's been working on this film for over a decade. I expect nothing but perfection. So the first Avatar was nominated for an Oscar. He got a Best Picture Oscar nomination for the first Avatar. Amsterdam by David O. Russell. Now, originally, the working title was Canterbury Glass. It's a period crime drama from David O. Russell with an all-star cast that includes, and this isn't even everyone, Margot Robbie, Christian Bale, Rami Malek, Saldana, Chris Rock, Timothy Olyphant, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Robert De Niro, to name a few. David O. Russell has been nominated a ton of times, but hasn't won. 3 BAFTA nominations and 2 wins. So he goes on the list. Disappointment Boulevard. Joaquin Phoenix and Ari Aster team up about the dramatic failures of some of the greatest inventors of all time. Astor was snubbed for Hereditary and Midsummer, and Joaquin Phoenix was snubbed last year for Come On, Come On. But it goes on the list. Wakanda Forever. Now, there were so many shakeups with the film, but at CinemaCon, there were some snippets that were released, so this will definitely be released this year. And it's probably, we'll have to see, but it's on the list. Elvis, Baz Luhrmann. It's going to be beautiful. It's Tom Hanks and the perfect Elvis casting. I'm skeptical if Black audiences will resonate with this film. The first trailer teased that Elvis had some sort of civil rights leanings, and which alters history. But for now, I'm in. It's Baz Luhrmann. I know it's going to be cinematically beautiful. It's on the list. I Want to Dance with Somebody, the Whitney Houston biopic. Casey Lemons is the director. Her past films include Talk to Me about DC Shock Jock, the first Shock Jock, Petey Green, that starred Don Cheadle. Now listen, that is one of my favorite films by Don Cheadle, starring Don Cheadle. But she also directed Eve's Bayou, which is one of the greatest films of all time, especially Black films. She did Self-Made, though, and Harriet, which were less extraordinary than those two. But from what I hear, I Want to Dance with Somebody will explore more of Whitney Houston's legacy and music instead of restrictively exploiting her drug addiction, which other biopics and documentaries have covered. Okay, so that's good. It will be more like Ray, which is a good thing. I wasn't in on the casting of Whitney at first. Early on, I wasn't. But at CinemaCon, they dropped some of the new poster. It looks good. So hopefully it's worthy of Whitney Houston. But that's on the list. Babylon, from director Damien Chazelle, who won for La La Land. Now, La La Land was not my favorite film. There were great performances in it, but it didn't resonate with me. Chazelle failed to garner nominations for First Man, which I understand, but I'm surprised he wasn't nominated. It stars Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, so they and Damien Chazelle may be in for some Oscar nominations. We'll see. But I need to see the cinematography. Barbie will not be released this year. It's been pushed to July 2023. The details for this film are being kept under wraps, but it's likely about the silent films becoming defunct and the transition to talkies. But we'll see how this pans out. Asteroid City by Wes Anderson. Now, he was completely snubbed last year for The French Dispatch, one of the best films last year. This one will star Bill Murray. Now, Bill Murray is currently in some hot water on a film that's being directed by Aziz Ansari. That's been halted. So I don't know if this film will suffer publicity scrutiny, but Wes Anderson, he's on the list. Killers of the Flower Moon. You can already put Martin Scorsese down for an Oscar nomination. He seems to get legacy now. They're regretting that they didn't nominate him for some of the biggest and greatest films that he directed and produced. But Leonardo DiCaprio, Jesse Plemons, Robert De Niro, of course, his muses are in there, and Eric Roth wrote the screenplay. It goes on the list. This is going to be a fantastic film. We already know. There are issues already. It's the Marilyn Monroe biopic. I think it was miscast, but it stars Anna de Armas. And Andrew Dominic directed this. I may eat my words, but for now, I really don't see it happening. Netflix is already skipping festivals for it, but I just threw it on the list. The Killer, starring Michael Fassbender. I have it on the list because of David Fincher. Let's be honest. But the logline is ambiguous and doesn't seem Oscar worthy. And Netflix is scaling back on campaigns. So We'll see. But David Fincher, I put it on. I was hoping that Sunset Boulevard would make the list, but it looks like Glenn Close is holding off another year for this remake. So I wish it were on the list, but it's not. The Son, the follow-up to 2020's The Father. I've been anticipating this film. I know that the writers have The Mother and they're releasing The Son before The Mother. The writers are the writers and director Chris Hampton and Florian Zeller are coming back to direct and produce and write the screenplay. Anthony Hopkins will reprise his role. I'm looking forward to The Son. Let's hope that it is as great as The Father was. The Woman King, directed by Gina Prince Blythewood, which stars the incomparable Viola Davis, about the rise and fall of the kingdom of Dahomey in the 18th and 19th centuries. So yeah, it's going on the list. I've already seen stills of this film, and it looks like it's going to be fantastic. The Pale Blue Eye. Ooh, this is going to be a fantastic film. It's directed by Scott Cooper, starring Christian Bale, who he's really going to have a big year. Christian Bale and Gillian Anderson, about mysterious murders at West Point while Edgar Allan Poe was a cadet. I'm already anticipating this film. Shirley, starring Regina King, who will play Shirley Chisholm, about the life and legacy of the first Black congresswoman and candidate for U.S. president. And there are still films that we need to see, like what indies are going to drop this year that are Oscar baity, and we need to see what's coming out of Japan. We need to see what's coming out of India. If we're going to get another masterpiece like The White Tiger, like we still have to see what else. But for now, on this list, I don't think anything is touching the cinematic masterpiece of The Northman. And Alexander Skarsgård, I mean, good Lord, he killed it in this film. That concludes my list, which I will continually add to throughout the year. Thank you so much. If you stuck around this long, I certainly appreciate you. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And until next time, peace.